Okay, Geek, so this morning, I want to ask you, what was the last good sci-fi movie that you saw? And I have to think about that myself because even though there's a lot more sci-fi fantasy movies and shows available, I just don't think most of them are good. And just to give you a little background on what I think is some good sci-fi movies, I love things like Blade Runner, Aliens, Terminator 2, and of course Star Wars. And in terms of fantasy, some of my favorite movies were movies like Legend, The Dark Crystal, and Neverending Story. And there are countless many other sci-fi fantasy movies that I like, but you know, I would only put like 20 of them out of all the movies I've ever seen that are that memorable. So nowadays, most sci-fi fantasy movies, they're really all about the special effects, and they're really generic in my opinion. So when I'm watching a movie like the 2001 A Space Odyssey, which was made back in the 1960s, it still blows me away today with the special effects and story. So nowadays, most sci-fi fantasy movies, just like all other movies, it's all about the marketing and the budget and how much they could get back on their investment. Even legendary directors like Ridley Scott or James Cameron, you know, their modern movies like even Avatar, Prometheus, I just wasn't that amazed by it. And if I had to think about it, the last memorable sci-fi movie that I saw was a small budget movie called Primer. And if you haven't seen that movie, it is available on Netflix, and I think it cost them about $55,000 to make. Almost no special effects, but a really engrossing story. And if you haven't seen it, that movie is about two guys who created an actual time machine. Now, the time machine isn't what's unique. What's unique is the way they tell this story. So those are the type of movies that I enjoy when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy. And hopefully there might be some more gems like that in the future. So what I'd like to know is, what are your thoughts on the modern sci-fi fantasy, and what are some of your favorites? Leave your comments and ideas below or send me a snap at Geek Outdoors.